Welcome to Personal Finance. I'm Mr. Wallenberg, Personal Finance Instructor at Missouri State University. If you're watching this, you're probably enrolled in a dual credit course, Personal Finance, through your high school and through Missouri State University. In order to get credit at Missouri State University for this Personal Finance class, you'll need to meet the Missouri Personal Finance competencies through your high school and then meet the requirements that we've laid out at Missouri State University. Once you're enrolled in the class and you have your Missouri State ID, you'll be able to enroll on Blackboard and view information about this course. There's the lecture component that you're currently watching. There will also be additional readings on Blackboard for you to take a look at. There will be quizzes after each segment on Blackboard. And there will be instructions on Blackboard for you to prepare your first personal financial plan. Once you complete your personal financial plan, you'll need to take the final exam, we will verify the high school requirements being met, and then you'll receive college credit for personal finance. The topics we're going to cover over this course are goal setting, budgeting, credit, insurance, and we'll discuss some investment basics. So let's get started on goal setting. The things we're going to talk about in goal setting deal with understanding how goals are used. We're going to set goals, we're going to identify some financial goals, and then we're going to discuss those financial goals. Okay, we're going to talk about goals. The topics we're talking about this segment, we're going to understand how goals are used. We're going to talk about setting goals. We're going to identify some financial goals, then we're going to discuss financial goals. So let's talk about understanding how goals are used. We all set goals. If we understand what we want, we can define the goal. And the goal will help us achieve what we want, and it will help us validate that we're getting where we want it to go. But what is a goal? A goal gives us something to strive for. It holds us accountable and helps us realize once we've achieved that goal. We have long-term goals, intermediate goals, and short-term goals. Hopefully the short-term goals support the long-term goals. For example, in 5 years, I want to have a $10,000 emergency fund. If we want to set an intermediate goal or a short-term goal to support that, in 1 year, I might need $1,000. The $1,000 gives us an intermediate objective, and that way we know if we're on track. Intermediate goals can also be used as a status check. When we're looking at short-term goals, we're looking at anything within 1 year. Intermediate goals are 1 to 5 years, and the long-term goals are anything longer than 5 years. Are financial goals any different than any other goal? Well, when we talk about financial goals, we're talking about using set dollar amounts and timelines to achieve our financial goals. Financial goals involve our personal finances. There could also be personal goals, something you want to accomplish in your personal life, a vacation you want to take at a certain point in time. You could have professional goals, a certain level in your career that you want to obtain or reach to. So we need to start setting some goals. We now understand what a goal is and how we can use them. One of the techniques to look at goals is to call it a SMART goal. Goals need to be specific. You need to establish exactly what it is that you want out of your goal. Part of specific is to make it measurable. Your goal needs to be measurable. If you can measure it, then you know when you've achieved that goal. The goal needs to be attainable. If I set a goal to save $1 million in 1 year, and I only make $30,000 a year, that's not an attainable goal. We need to make sure it's attainable. It needs to be realistic. If it's not realistic, you're going to be frustrated because you're never quite reaching your goal. And the last thing that makes a goal effective is the time element. When do you want to achieve that goal? Let's take a look at some goals. I want to buy a car. Is that a smart goal? Let's think about it. Would you be satisfied with a 1999 Subaru hatchback? You bought a car. When will you buy the car? If you wait 5 years to get that Subaru, now it's even 5 years older, are you going to be satisfied that you achieved your goal? Probably not. So we need to add a little bit to this goal. How about if I save $2,500 to use as a down payment on a new Chevrolet Malibu 3 years from today? Is that specific? Pretty much. Is it measurable? Well, I'll know when I reach $2,500. I'll know when 3 years from today is. Is it attainable? Based on my situation, I think I can save $2,500 in 3 years. Realistic? Definitely. Do I have a time element? 3 years from today. So 3 years from today, if I have my down payment and I'm at the car dealer looking for a Chevrolet Malibu, I'll know that I achieved my goal. Let's take a look at a personal goal. I want to lose 10 pounds. Losing 10 pounds, sound like a good goal? Well, yeah, I want to lose weight. Very specific. Is that measurable? I can step on a scale and I'll know if I lost 10 pounds or not. Is it attainable? It depends on your current weight. If you're a large person, losing 10 pounds might not be a big deal. If you're a very small person, that may not be attainable because losing 10 pounds would be a significant amount of your weight. So it may or may not be attainable. Is it realistic? It depends on your current situation. Are you in the middle of a trip where you're not eating well? Are you not feeling well? It may not be realistic to do it right now. What about the time element? If I lose those 10 pounds and it takes 10 years, will I have achieved my goal? I need to make it more specific. I want to lose 10 pounds within the next 6 weeks. How about saving $1 million? That sounds pretty good for all of us, doesn't it? When do you need the $1 million by? I think you see where I'm going. It's got to be specific, and you've got to make sure it's attainable and realistic. For most of us, it's not realistic to save $1 million in the next 3 or 4 years. Now, if we set a timeline of 45 years, that may become realistic. We probably need to set up some intermediate goals to go along with this goal. If I use my financial calculator and just look at the numbers, if I save $500 a month, earning 5% interest for the next 45 years, I'll have my $1 million. But what if I can't save $500 this month? My budget doesn't allow me to save $500. Maybe I can't save that for a few years. So maybe I would like to start with $100 a month at 5% for 2 years. There's a short-term goal. My intermediate goal is to add to that, and in years 3 through 8, let's save $300 a month. If we were to do that, we'd be on a start. We'd be at about $23,000, still nowhere near our $1 million, but we've got to start. Now, by adjusting my goal, or by adjusting the process to reach that goal, saving less in those first few years, I'm going to have to pick it up a little bit. So after those 8 years, if I were to save $600 a month, I would be able to achieve my $1 million within the next 45 years. Now, I talked about financial goals versus personal goals. This is personal finance. Let's talk about some of our financial goals. These are goals that should be in your financial plan. You need to decide what it is that you want to achieve regarding your personal finances. Let's look at saving. We can all set a savings goal. To make it specific, I want to save $4,000 in my emergency savings within the next 12 months. Well, let's break that down just a little bit. While we're in the process of setting this SMART goal, $4,000 is not just a random number. That might work for some of you and might not work for others. You need to decide how to come up with that number and have a realistic timeline in order to get there. Your emergency savings might be a couple months of living expenses should something happen. You should include the deductibles on your insurance because that money needs to come from somewhere. So as we're building up that savings, once you reach that goal is accomplished, and you can use the money that you were putting towards that goal for something else. Housing is a common goal for people. The goal I hear so often is, I want to own my home. Well, think about it. Remember the SMART goal? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time sensitive. Owning your home doesn't meet very many of those. But to make it specific, in 10 years, I want to save $15,000 to use as a down payment on a 3-bedroom, $150,000 house in Southwest Missouri. Now, do I know what I'm looking for and what I'm saving for? I think so. Hopefully, I've done the research. I know what a $150,000 house in Southwest Missouri is going to look like. Hopefully, if I've done that research, I know that I can get a 3-bedroom house for $150,000. Now, as you go through your budget, you can adjust the numbers. What's it going to take to save $15,000 in 10 years? Maybe you can save faster. Maybe you can save more money. But as you get closer to your goal, you can make those adjustments. An insurance goal. Do we need insurance goals? Insurance is a key element of your personal financial plan. Most of us have homeowners or renters insurance. Most of us have automobile insurance, health insurance. Most of these insurance programs have a deductible or a copay, something you need to pay when you use the insurance. If you have a deductible on your car insurance, you've got to have that money somewhere. Remember I mentioned your deductibles in your emergency savings? Well, maybe we want to raise our deductible so that we can lower the cost of our insurance. How about setting a goal here to save an extra $1,000 in 12 months so I can raise my deductible? Maybe we already have our emergency savings in place. Now I'm going to try and save another $1,000 to put into that emergency savings plan so I can raise my deductible from $250 to $1,000 and save each month on my monthly insurance premium. But before I do that, I got to make sure I have that money so when I do have that accident, I'm able to cover my share of the insurance. Retirement is a goal everyone likes to talk about. Everyone looks forward to retirement. Everyone has great dreams for retirement. But you need to set your retirement goals. How do you know what you want in retirement? Do we just throw a dollar amount out there? I mentioned earlier I want to save $1 million for retirement. How far does $1 million go? Is $1 million enough? Is $1 million way too much? One of the things we can do with our retirement goal, we need a time. We need it measurable. So at age 60, I want a monthly income of $5,000. Another element that I might want to add to that in terms of time is how long? Do I want $5,000 a month for 1 year? Or do I want $5,000 a month for 10 years? Or 20 years? I need to decide that. Then I can get into my financial plan, decide how much I need to save for that lump sum. In the particular scenario I was just talking about, if I want $5,000 a month to last me 20 years, I would need about $645,000. So if I've got 50 years from now until I retire, I would need to save about $118 a month. Now, most of us don't have that long, at least not if we're going to retire at age 60. You may want to push your retirement age back. You may want to lower your amount or that you're going to withdraw, or you can increase the amount you're investing each month. The other thing you need to do with your goals, the last thing, is monitor them. If I look at my retirement goal, I want to have a monthly income of $5,000. Today, I think I can live on $5,000. 30 or 40 years from now, $5,000 will not go nearly as far as it does today. So I may need to make adjustments to my goals. On the housing goal, in 10 years, I want to buy a $150,000 house. That same house may cost more. As the price of my goal increases, I will need to make adjustments to the steps that I'm taking to achieve my goal. And that's where those intermediate goals become even more important. So we've talked about how goals are used. We've set several goals. These goals could be used for yourself, for your financial plan, or you could adjust them. Some of you have totally different goals. And we've looked specifically at several financial goals. Okay, we've talked about how goals are used, and we've set some goals. The financial goals we discussed are goals that you can use in your personal financial plan. When you're setting your goals, make sure you use SMART goals. Make them specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. As you apply those goals to your financial plan, you'll be on the road to being financially successful.